All right, we've got Mike Peterson here. If you have a question for him, raise your hand. I'll call on you. But of course, we'll start with Spencer. Go ahead.
Hey, Coach. How are you doing today?
I'm good, Spencer. How are you?
I'm doing well. I just wanted to start off by asking, obviously, Tip being out is a huge adjustment for you guys. What sort of adjustments are you looking to make with Tip out?
Well, we've kind of been in the adjustment business all year. We have not had a single practice or game with kind of what was projected as our starting lineup. So we'll just adjust again. I mean, when you lose Tiff, you lose a couple things. I mean, she's a very good three-point shooter. She is someone who can get to the front of the rim and put foul pressure on people. And she's as good a perimeter defender one-on-one, maybe, as there is in the league. So you're not just going to plug somebody in and say, go be Tiff. That's not how it works. And so we'll try to adjust and make up for her loss with a group of people. And the one thing this team has done really well is adjusted to personnel changes, and it's been the thing that's been interesting really has been at first we didn't have Cheyenne, who's a post. Well, then we didn't have Kennedy, who's a point guard. Now we don't have Tiff, who's a wing. So it's not like it's just one position that these players have had to adjust to multiple positions being out and how we have to adjust offensively and defensively. And frankly, they've done an awesome job on offense. We just need to keep getting a little better on defense.
Spencer, if you have a follow-up, go ahead.
Yeah, kind of in that same vein. I mean, it's obvious what Odyssey's been doing over the past few games has really helped you guys out. Can you talk about maybe how the team looks differently with Tip off the floor and Odyssey filling in? I know they play different positions, different roles, but how she's gotten better and what she's going to do for you guys while Tip is out.
Yeah, sure. I mean, I think Odyssey's played fabulous the last several games. And so part of that was just getting used to her teammates, right? We talked about that from the beginning of the year, that we had a lot of new parts, and a lot of moving parts, and that they'd have to develop synergy with one another. And I think Odyssey's done a great job of that. One of the things that Odyssey does very well that I think people don't give her enough credit for is she's really a good defender. And so she can take up a lot of that on ball, lockdown kind of defensive presence that we lose when Tiff's out. Okay. And then offensively, it gives us a lineup where we're probably going to have 2 point guards on the floor a lot of the time. And so it adds an additional ball handler. It adds an additional person to make reads, different reads than Tiff makes when they're in ball screening action. So again, O's done a great job. And the thing that this team has done really well, different people have stepped up at different times. We played those, whatever we played, 6 games, I guess, without Kennedy, right? The last 2, we scored 194 points, in the 2 games with Washington. So, players have stepped up in the absence of injured people. And it's not ideal. It's not what you would want, but it's what we have. And so I'm confident that people will step up and people will adjust. And a lot of it will be done on the fly. A lot of it you've got to get a feel for in the game and do it on the fly.
And next question for me, just about Courtney Williams.
Yeah.
She started the year really strong. She hasn't gotten worse, but I think you're seeing, she's playing in a bit of a different way than she was at the start of the year. Can you just talk about what you've seen from her recently? And obviously, the All-Star break is coming up. Can you talk about the case for her as an All-Star?
The case for her as an All-Star is, if you don't vote for her, you shouldn't have a vote. Okay, that's as clear as I can make that. And then I think, she didn't shoot it very well in the last game against Washington, but Courtney's played really well all year long. And, she's had a couple of games where she didn't shoot it as well. But, the 17 shots she took against Washington, most of them were really good shots. They just didn't go down. And so, she's been very consistent. She's played very well all year. Teams are starting to load up on her more. Okay. And again, especially in the absence of Kennedy, right? Teams were able to load up more. When you've got Tiff and Kennedy and Court out there, it's pretty hard to load up on one of them. When one of them's down, it becomes easier. Now, I will say this, the way Odyssey's been playing the last several games, it goes right back to making it hard to load up again. So, yeah, I think Court's played really well. And again, if she's not on an all-star team right now, we just need to not have one. I mean, she's an obvious choice. She's played well all year long.
All right. Thanks so much, Coach.
Yep, thank you.
All right. We've got Cheyenne Parker here. If you have a question for her, raise your hand. I'll call on you. Spencer Nussbaum, we'll start with you. Go ahead.
Hey, Cheyenne, how you doing today?
Hello.
I wanted to start off, I've asked you this before, but I'm curious if you have any new perspective. You talked about being really excited to get to play with Kennedy once she comes back. Can you just talk about again, what you're most looking forward to and what she's going to add to your team with, now Tip out and Kennedy filling in soon?
Yeah, just Ken's energy on the offensive end and defensive end. Very excited to play with her. Obviously the injury was like unfortunate timing. So I haven't really gotten a chance to play much with her during the season, but preseason and practice, we had a lot of good chemistry, a lot of good, just energy from her. So I'm really excited to have her back. Unfortunate about Tiff, but thankfully it's not anything that is career ending or season ending or, surgical. So it's actually a blessing. It's just one of those things that comes with the game of basketball.
John Wroblewski, go ahead.
Hi, Cheyenne. I'm calling from Chicago. First, I just wanted to thank you for a lot of great years here. We really appreciate everything you did. Along those lines, how weird was it, or how strange, or how long did it take you to get used to putting on a different uniform after so many years with the Sky?
It was very different. Can't even say it enough how different it was just to wear red and not wear the normal sky blue. I've been there for 6 seasons and it felt like, like college, you just spend so much time somewhere. So it just really feels like home. So the change, the adjustment has been very different, but I'm so happy here that it's definitely helped with me transitioning here and feeling at home.
B. Terrell, go ahead.
Hey, Cheyenne. Good afternoon. How are you?
Good. How are you?
Doing well. How do you feel? Obviously missed some time at the start of the season, and so now you've had 6 games under your belt. How does it feel to be, I guess, back in the groove of things for you?
It's feeling good. Coming off of COVID, it was really tough just getting my wind and my physical conditioning, and I'm still working on it. It's something that will take me a couple of weeks to really be at 100%, but I could say that I feel so much better, and I'm just so happy to be back out there on the floor, just getting my rhythm and my feel back. So, I'm taking it one day at a time, try to get better. When I have the time to get extra work, I do. And we've just taken it one day at a time, one game at a time.
Spencer Nussbaum, back to you.
Yeah, I just wanted to ask about, off the court, how you're spending your time and what you're doing to kind of keep your mental and emotional health upbeat and in check. Because it seems like, you're having a good time in Atlanta, you said, but I'm curious, what's bringing you that joy at this point in the season?
For me, I've been just kind of enjoying the transition. Like, obviously I had to move, I had a place in Chicago, so I basically moved everything. So right now I'm just transitioning and making a home out of Atlanta. So that's what I've been really enjoying, is just making a home out of Atlanta and the transition of it all.
And last question, we'll go back to B. Terrell. Go ahead.
Okay. Kind of quick questions on two of them. I know my favorite Cheyenne moment in the career. It was your rookie year and that big block. You know the block I'm talking about, possibly. But what has been your favorite moment so far throughout all of your seasons here in the WNBA? And speaking of transition, how do you like or what do you see yourself doing over this Olympic break that starts next month?
Well, I've that's definitely my favorite moment. My rookie season, blocking Candace Parker, you know, a player that I looked up to and just aspired to be like. So that was a really big moment for me. Also, my first game where I kind of had my breakout game is my second year versus Seattle, and it was right before the Olympic break. A lot of the players, Erica De Souza, Della Don, and Clarissa, they all had to leave. So I had the opportunity to really play, and I had my first double-double of my career, and that was a really special moment because it just showed like the potential I could have when I get some minutes under me. And I unfortunately hurt my ankle in that game, and was kind of messed me up for a while, but that moment just was kind of like a recognizing like, oh, I can be a pretty dominant post presence in the league. You know, that was the moment for me. But I've had so many amazing and really dope memories and moments just throughout my career that I could go on and on about. As far as this Olympic break, that for me, this is like a preseason. No, this is my opportunity to really go hard and get myself back in the shape I was in before I got COVID, right before season. Like I was just in really great shape, and I was so excited to start the season to be an all-star, but it's all in God's will, and it wasn't in the cards, and I just have to follow his will. And I think I'm looking at the Olympic break as an opportunity for me to just get back in the shape that I was in.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Thanks so much, Ryan.
Thanks.
Open the door on me. God, you take forever. You ain't got nowhere to be.
All right, we've got Kennedy Carter here. If you have a question for her, raise your hand. I'll call on you. Spencer Nussbaum, we'll start with you. Go ahead.
Hey, Kennedy, how you doing today?
Doing good.
Good to hear. I just obviously wanted to start off asking about how you're feeling, how the elbow's feeling, and if you have either a known or an estimated date when you're going to return.
I have no date. The elbow's feeling good. Feeling good. That's all I can say about it right now. It's feeling good. Work in progress.
B. Terrell, go ahead.
Hollywood, how are you? This is your boy B. Terrell. I haven't had a chance to really speak to you. So how does it feel? Obviously last season being in the bubble, but now being in Atlanta. What has it been like, your experience here in Atlanta so far? The good food, the good weather, obviously, going through recovery. What has your experience been like so far actually being in the city?
I like it. It's definitely different from where I was born and raised, Dallas, Texas. So it's definitely has the culture sense of feeling here. And I love that. I love the food here, of course. We got a lot of nice soul food places, a lot of nice barbecue places, lounges that are, pretty available that you can go to and get some great food too. So I'm really just liking, I guess I could say the fast pace. I like my favorite part is just driving on the freeways. I'm used to having freeways with like 3 lanes, like not really a lot of space. Coming to Atlanta, it was a pretty big city, so I was able to like drive pretty fast and get around and speed a little bit. So I like that fast pace kind of style here.
John Wroblewski, go ahead.
Hi, thank you for your time. What do you think was the biggest thing you learned last season and that you're taking to this season?
The biggest thing that I probably learned was just to watch myself and watch film and watch the WNBA. Even if maybe I don't feel like it, or hey, I had a game last night, I'm tired. Even if it's another game coming on late, I'm still trying to watch other players' tendencies. But when they run across me, I know what they can do, and I'm always looking ahead. That was the biggest thing I took away from being in the bubble. I spent a lot of my free time watching film and just watching basketball games in general. So that's what I learned, to really pay attention and then use it when you go out there and play.
All right, thanks so much, Ken.